Hello, welcome in. We will get started shortly. Thank you for tapping the screen, sharing the live. This is the info session for Intro to Holistic Medicine. Hello, KF. So if you are interested in participating in learning from all different spaces, places, etc., do stick around. We'll get started in just a few moments. Thank you for tapping the screen, sharing the live, just being here, really your presence I'm grateful for. My name is Dr. Steele. I'm a holistic doctor in family practice, and I'm teaching an intro to holistic medicine. This is week 1. This is an info session if you're interested in learning about holistic medicine and all of the things there are, remembering that it is truly a journey, not a destination, but through your intention and awareness, you'll be led to exactly what you need. Get started in just a few moments. Thank you for tapping the screen. Trying to get to a couple thousand before we get started. And thank you for tapping the screen, sharing the live. All right. I think we'll be able to go ahead and get started. I've been able to share it out. Definitely put your questions in the chat if you need to. All right. Hello. Good evening. My name is Dr. Steele. I'm a board-certified naturopathic doctor. I hold 7 degrees in my field. They're all in the natural healthcare space. I like to say that I went to school, so you don't have to. I was one of the professors at Hillmantock University, and while I'm not affiliated with them in any way, I am an educator, and I've been an educator for a long time. In fact, some of my students are running around this app. I had a family practice for about 15 years in Virginia. I got out of school to kind of do my preceptorship or my clinical training in Virginia and open up a practice there. Right at the beginning of when the ACA first started in healthcare. So what I did was I then went back to school and got my MPH, which is a master's in public health. And so because I really wanted to understand the healthcare system. While I did that, but also prepare me for legislation because I knew, I'd probably have to protect natural health care. So I always knew I wanted to be a natural doctor, meaning that I'm not a prescriber of pharmaceuticals. However, I understand them very well. I understand biochemistry, mechanisms of action, how they work, cofactors, all those sorts of things, and I can mimic a lot of the mechanisms of action of what they do. So I just fundamentally didn't believe in synthetics. Anyway, not that we don't need them, etc. Disclaimer. Okay, so I knew I had to protect that. So eventually I did go on and get into legislation and bill writing and lobbying later on down the road, and did a lot of work in the medical freedom space and really just trying to protect our 14th Amendment to be able to choose what we do with our bodies. And that goes for any kind of healthcare treatment, because the body is not, humans are not, robots, right? We're not these cookie cutter things. We're all very unique, and we have all very unique, needs and wants and supports and results we want to create. And so healthcare is a really personalized experience. So I delivered kind of that old school family doctor combined with personalized care back in Virginia for 15 years. However, it burned me out a lot because I also was a doctor all through COVID. And so, where the conventional medical system was dependent upon the CDC and NIH for information, us doctors that take our own data, we had our own data, right? And so, and unfortunately, the data wasn't dating, and the protocols were against public health, because remember, I had just gone through a public health degree. So I really began to see a lot of the flaws in the system. Not to mention, I was in legislation, so like all these things were happening all at the same time. I'm building a practice, I'm fighting off major medical, right? I'm in the media, championing all this and really gung-ho. And so it's a lot of intersections and a lot of different, nuances, which I'll talk about. I also have several podcasts. One of them is Confessions of a Holistic Doctor. I do have some other episodes I need to upload, which I will get to. But it really kind of talks about my experience, decolonizing from, doing that. I call it being on the plantation, because it was so crazy. It was just such a crazy experience. So, anywho, so I did that, and then just going through COVID, working so much, like, oh my gosh, it was insane, because really it was a lot of people's fear and miseducation and misinformation, and it was all based off of the germ theory, which we'll talk about in our first week. And so, it really left people feeling very powerless, not to mention that, all diseases begin and end from breakdowns in the metabolism. So if people, let's say they had hypertension or diabetes or any of those issues that were either unmanaged or unhealthy, they were more susceptible, right? And then even still, people that already had autoimmune conditions or people that had weakened systems were even more susceptible. So not to mention, we were going against actual public health policy, so it was a mess. Let me tell you. But I stuck in there, and even with all the attacks, because as a holistic doctor, we are like out there, in the wilderness. But I really built a practice off of getting results for people, and teaching them, right? So I closed my practice in 2023. I took some time off, and I went back for my MBA, and I studied again the healthcare system from this kind of economic perspective. So important to know, it's not, your pandemics and your acute, diseases that really, are driving the healthcare costs. It's a chronic disease, right? Lifestyle issues, modifiable lifestyle factors, right? And so, but also it's this consciousness of what health is, right? So health is a state that we create, right, every single day. But health is marketed to us as disease management. And we'll kind of talk about the distinction between health practice and disease management all this week. So if you've registered for the class, how to register for the class, there's still time. And I'm kind of, so let me back it up. So I built also a business and a practice off of listening to people. I know that's rare in the healthcare community, but actually listening to what people want, right? So when you guys give me feedback, right, I listen, and because it's not just me, it's like you guys too. Yeah, I should also say too. So okay. So remember with the whole Hillman Talk thing, again, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I have all of my own information, etc., right? Originally, it was to the professors to be able to register, etc. So even though I have a technology fee, right, I am actually going to give 3 CU credits for the class or you can have a certificate, right? But it's all through me and my school and all that kind of stuff. You can look it up on LinkedIn. Again, I opened it probably about a year ago, and really began. I took a step back, got my MBA, learned, also all of this digital marketing stuff that you see. It took a lot to be able to build out these communities because they have to be HIPAA compliant. They have to be, data, secure. There's a lot to it. So I have a health technology company that builds these kind of experiences, right? And so I wanted to be this experience because I have a lot of people that always come to me because I've been in practice so long, and so many people, want to learn from me. So I kind of thought about, okay, so who do I serve from that perspective? But what are the needs that are there? And so we definitely have access issues in healthcare, meaning people don't have access, but they do have access to social media, right? You're watching me right now. So, if I do classes on live, right, then you get the information. And then there's a value added, so it has to be sustainable. So naturally, if you want to get a certificate and that kind of thing. Now, when it comes to certifications, so I haven't applied to any yet, but I understand the process and all of that. The reason I never applied was because there's pros and cons to all of them. And so when I look at something, I don't just look at it from one perspective because most of the time these things are paperwork and just financial, honestly, because in terms of curriculum structure and all of that, I've known that for years. Like that as you'll see, like, so this week, tomorrow, actually, what I'll do is, today I posted pre-work. So tomorrow I'll actually post the syllabus information. So you'll get what books we're reading. Now, when it comes to the books, please don't freak out. There are a lot of books, but again, this is more exploratory learning. Okay, so you can take this as seriously or as not seriously as you want. You don't have to, stress out about this. Not only do I have these communities, I also have lots and lots of information. So I'm trying to kind of gauge it. Really, we always start off in the mind anyway. So that's the journey that we're taking, right? In terms of how we get there, I'm taking it step by step in order to organize it, right? So you're getting daily emails. Once you pick your group, so there's pre-work that's done, definitely save the playlists for on YouTube and or on TikTok, whichever platform you're at. Those two are probably the best, even though I stream on LinkedIn and IG. I haven't set up playlists or seen if there's anything like that. So for right now, it's just TikTok and YouTube. And the reason you want to save the playlist is because I give you kind of updates and things like that. Kind of like look at them like they're announcements, right? That's what they're for. I'll also post different things, so definitely check out the content and interact with it. Hold on one second. I have a little update thing. Hopefully that does okay. Okay. And then once we start the course, I'll post everything tomorrow. So on Monday, you'll get kind of a heads up for the week. Your first discussion is due on Wednesday. Now, when I say discussion, right, there are questions that I'm going to pose. And the questions are more so to get you to really think about what we're talking about. We'll have a 1 hour lecture on Wednesday to really kind of discuss this question and begin to break it out, because we're going into the inquiry of it with this idea of what do I think, what do I know, and what can I prove, right? And remember, we're going to let go of anything and everything, thank you, Troy, that we know, right, about healthcare, because there is a lot that is not being said, right? And there is a lot that we need to sift and sort through, right? And a lot that I have had the advantage of already sifting and sorting through. So I'm going to guide you in a structured way, right? But I'm also going to guide you through the information. I'm going to help show you kind of how to look at the information, how to look at it, from a critical lens, not necessarily from an affirming lens either, because I really want you to look at this system, right? There is us, right? And we have a right to health, right? We have a right to clean water, clean air, clean food. This is what helps our health, right? Hello, blessed high rising. This is what actually creates our health, right? However, we are trapped in a system, okay, that likes to manage disease, okay? However, what if I don't want to get a disease that needs to be managed? How do I navigate my health in a system that wants to manage my diseases, right? So the system doesn't have any vested interest in you getting unbiased information, okay? Pfizer, back in October, very quietly paid out a very large settlement for pretty much paying the peer reviewers, meaning that they were paying peer reviewers to say that whatever they were peer reviewing was quote unquote peer reviewed. Okay. And so that biases studies. Okay. So that means that we have data that we cannot depend upon. All right. Now, the thing is that again, I saw this all during the vid, so I was already hip to the game, and so I took my own data during that time, right? And so I could actually run reports on my patients and find out who was immune compromised, who had cardiovascular risk factors, and we called all of those patients and put them on a protocol and educated them, and they were good to go, right? And even we got a lot of phone calls from patients from the ER, not our patients, but just from referrals, and what they were being threatened, and all kinds of crazy stuff was happening, and the PPIs were being used, and they were single use. I mean, there was so much, because I also treat healthcare professionals, I treat mental health professionals, I treat doctors, I treat all sorts of different people from all different backgrounds, high, low, up, down, left, and right. I treat it all, because I've been a holistic family doctor for a long time, and so people know my name, and I'm in a lot of circles. Anyway, nonetheless, I digress. So technology is a great tool, but it's also who owns the data, right? And so when you're in any kind of system, whether it's going into your traditional healthcare office or whatever, they all own your data, right? No matter what. And now with the 14th Amendment being in question, now the data is kind of up for grabs, meaning that the doctor now, their 14th Amendment protected doctor-patient confidentiality. It protected your relationship between your doctor and yourself, right? Well, erosion of that, right, goes after that protection, okay? Which means that now the medical community, right, is very much limited, even more limited to what they can say, to what they can share, to what they can do, because again, they're pretty much, they're part of a system, unfortunately. I mean, I don't think that they were consciously aware that they were part of a system. I think that many of them thought that they were just becoming doctors and it was all going to be, beautiful, and they were right and all of that. But there's going to be a lot of day of reckoning, simply because when you look at the history of how the conventional healthcare system was built, it was not built out of integrity. And as we know, without integrity, nothing works. You can't operate a system out of a lack of integrity without it collapsing, because it has no foundation. So we kind of see it wobbling. And now again, with the blackout between the World Health Organization, CDC, NIH, right? And we don't even know yet. We've already seen some glimpses from the RFK's confirmation hearing. Thank you so much. From RFK's confirmation hearing, kind of some of the remnants. He talked about that Polish study, which I'm looking up. There are several other studies that are very much hidden about our systems and how our systems work. Again, I know it from my own data, right? So, I look at that and go, okay. So, I look at those hearings as like coming attractions because that's what they are, in terms of the amount of information. Also, recognize and maybe look up, consider how many of those politicians are financed by people, and who they're financed by, which pharmaceutical companies that they're financed by. Because remember, the pharma is far reaching. Rockefeller Philanthropies is very far reaching. They own a lot of people. And so those people are designed to tell you certain things, right? And again, make no question of it. Health insurance is not health care. Okay, health insurance is health insurance to hopefully protect you financially in the event you have a catastrophic event. Hopefully, you won't ever need a catastrophic event, but that's the purpose of health insurance. People are paying into a system. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. People are paying into a system, okay, where they are not getting actual health care. In fact, they're getting sicker and sicker in this system, okay? So it's not really working. And so we want to begin to look at this objectively, and we want to be able to we want to be able to really see what's going on. But more importantly, we want to come from this perspective of how can I be proactive instead of reactive, right? So we can wait around and, kind of, eyes wide shut, and, we can pretend like, oh, everything's hunky-dory, right? Not me, right? I don't wait until I'm like the girl, like the Titanic, right? Okay, the Titanic's going down. I'm not waiting until the band plays. Okay, I'm just not. I'm, children, elderly, babies. Okay, check me. Like we getting into the boat, orderly fashion, etc. We sailing away, sail away, sail away. That's what we're doing. Because again, the data shows, right, chronic disease is at an all-time high based off of lifestyle modifiable factors. Who's controlling that? Who's controlling the food? Who's controlling the water? Who's controlling the air we breathe? Who's also working to deregulate? Oh, okay, the same people. Okay, so they're creating the problem. Okay. Oh, who wants to come in now? All right, now they have, they found all these studies out from where, and now there's information to confirm what we've been talking about forever, and you guys are the ones that have the solution, and you guys are the ones that okay, great. Yeah, so no, we're not doing that. So again, right, I go, all right, let's get to work. Let's start educating people. Let's start educating people on what real holistic medicine is, right? Because let me tell you something. Holistic medicine is not about buying a supplement. It's not about running a lab test. It's not about, following some crazy diet, some juice fast, some water cleanse that children found online. It's not taking some herbal thing and doing whatever. It's not a thing outside of yourself, right? A holistic practice is within self, right? You are finding all of your answers and all of your truth within self, right? How do I know this works? I literally had a whole community built for you guys, just waiting for you, sitting there. I had some people in it, but I was taking my time and doing my thing and relaxing because I don't want to work hard anymore. I worked hard for a long time. I don't want to work hard anymore. I want to have fun. I want to do things I love. I want to be creative. I want to educate. I want to share. I want to pour into people that want to be poured into. Again, I want to alchemize my life the way that it makes me feel good. And I want to teach you how to do the same because I have a feeling, right, that you want peace, right? You don't want to be on this constant merry-go-round of this and that. And, I was so unhealthy living in that paradigm, right? But by all measure, I was extremely successful, right? I had the house and the cars and the this and the that. But I was also chained in my office 16, 18-hour days, day in and day out, constantly, this phone call and that phone call, and I need you this and I need that. And no matter how much I gave, I could not rescue people from themselves, right? And as much as I tried, it depleted me even more, right? And even though I've got broad shoulders and strong hips, and I can carry a lot of people because I'm a big vessel, however, it isn't healthy for me. And that again was that plantation mentality that I had to emancipate myself out of, right? That's why that last episode, the highest paid house Negro, because that's how I felt, as long as I self-abandoned and fawned and gave parts of myself here and parts of myself there, and a self-abandon here, and make this person's, make sure this person feels safe here and this person has this. The more that I did that, the more I was erasing myself, right? And then the moment I started to pull that back and go, no, that's BS. No, that doesn't work. No. You're always nice and sweet in the beginning. They always love you in the beginning, right? When they think that you're cute and cuddly, when they think you're just a pretty face, you're smart, but when they think they can run game on you, then it's good. They think it's a power game, right? It's a power struggle. So when they think that you're ignorant and you're willing to be subjugated, or you're willing to be oppressed, or you're willing to be taken advantage of, right? It's all good. But the moment that you check them and you go, no, here's the line. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not willing to do that. I don't accept that. No, you can't profit on me there. No, I'm not willing to do that. No, that doesn't make sense to me. No, I'm worth more. Whatever it is, right? We get to decide as generous, loving souls, right? Because I am a generous, loving soul, and I'm not going to change for nobody. I refuse, right? I get to choose, right, with my power and my voice, right, what I accept and what I don't accept. And so I let you know, right? And it doesn't mean it has to be Jerry Springer, right? Or it has to be some big Lifetime television movie, or now we're in the people's court. It doesn't have to be that way, because I don't want to give up that much of my energy, right? I'm on an energy economy. Oh, I forgot to tell you, today's my birthday, by the way. So, being on an energy economy, right? I get to choose what I use my energy for, because my energy is currency. That is how powerful we are. What I give my energy to grows, it magnifies. So I only want to give my energy and my attention to things that are of value to me, to things that are important to me. Thank you guys so much. Things that matter to me, because I want to watch them grow, right? And so I'm not, I don't need to, spend my time convincing this person or telling this person or beating. I spent years doing that. I spent years being the human walking encyclopedia. For real. Like, for real. Ask people in Virginia. It was like, oh, Dr. Steele, oh, yep, it's this. Oh, yep, it's that. Oh, yep, it's that. Yep, yep. I mean, constantly, right? And I have a wealth of information, and I love that, but I'm not like a little, I'm not like a little like a robot. Like, you don't just spin me up. It was incredibly dehumanizing, right? And so there has to be equitability in the relationship. I'm not a savior. I'm not your guru. You are your own guru. I'm a teacher. I'm a guide, right? So if I give you the information, right, that has led me into this journey, right, then you get to decide, right? Because I don't want to fight with anybody. Like, I really don't. But I've spent a long time in this field to learn. Hold on, I need to get my charger. Hold on one second. My husband's asleep. Hold on. All right, perfect. I can plug my phone in. Okay, good. Yeah, so I don't want to convince anybody. I don't want to force anybody because I don't want your power. I want you to hold on to your power, right? So holding on to your power isn't being in coercion. If I was coercing you, then it would be no different than a conventional doctor, right? Because what does conventional doctor say? Follow the science. Well, who defines science? What happens if the data that I have doesn't match the data they have? Whose science is better? Whose science should I be following? And do I have time to wait until data is even available? I don't have time to wait. I have the patients in front of me right now. So I need to interpret the data that I have access to. Yeah, it is. I know. Hold on one second. All right, it should be good now. All right, cool. All right, there we go. I think it should be good. Can you see me, hear me now? Wait until it figures itself out. It's kind of a little slow on TikTok. Let's see. All right, perfect. I think it's almost catching itself now. I'm gonna start talking and see what it does. Yeah, let me see if I can tap this screen and get it to kind of click through. I don't want to get too far ahead and then. Let me see. Let me see if it's doing.